Well, it says I'm live. Whether I am or not is another question. All right. Hopefully I'm live. Welcome from the crossroads of America to a talk show shooting with disabilities. Guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. Answer questions from the audience either in the chat or by email at rickslifeasIseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. I have a Patreon page and PayPal and all that other shit, and all down there in the info section. Anybody's interested. So there we go. Let's see who was in the chat first tonight. Jason Stewart was first, then Gun Loving Grandpa, then the Gun Snob, then Southpaw, RX, Patriot in the Dark, Guns and Barbecue, Rich White, Sabrina's here. Sabrina's here, so we can start now. So, anyway, let me introduce my panel I have so far. Is Patriot in the Dark. How you doing?
I am doing wonderful. Thanks, Rick, for having me. Hi, Sabrina.
And Guns and Barbecue. How you doing? Did he walk away? Did he hit the mute button? Oh, well. You must have stepped away for a few minutes. So we'll get back to him. I hope. So, but it looks like it's just me and you, Patriot.
Sounds good.
Oh, yeah. Always good.
I'm sure he's coming back.
I'm doing all right.
There he is. He's back.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, New York Outcast just said in the chat, he'll be back. He's got to go on his PC to get in. His cell phone's letting him down. That's a shame. He was on a roll. He got in here about the last 5 or 6 weeks, first try. Today, no good. So, sorry about that. Well, anyway, while we're waiting for everybody to start coming in, I've already mentioned this in the pre-show with the guys here, is that my damn washing machine shit the bed on me today. So it's a bummer. Problem is, I was messing with it. I got my clothes out of it. I slammed the door shut and tried to get it to finish its cycle to empty the water out of it, and it hasn't. And the door locked, and it won't come unlocked now. So I said, hell. So anyway, guess I'll be buying a new washing machine soon. I'll be going down the laundromat, I guess, once or twice before I can get a new machine, because I have to work my budget out. So anyway, that's how my day's gone today. Besides that, I'm doing pretty good. So there we go. Oh, Midnight Range is here. So anyway, I got a couple of topics. I know people want to talk, about the Supreme Court and stuff, which we'll get to more likely in the second half of the show. But in the first half, I mean, here's a question: being disabled, what do you need in a carry gun? Well, for me, as everybody knows, I'm just throwing this out there, I'll just go first, is I need a gun that I could handle with the recoil because of the arthritis in my hands now. Because when the cold weather gets here, my hands hurt even more than they do normally. So that's what, I look for, is a gun that I can handle, and I found one in the 380. The 380 EZ, and so I got the 380 EZ Performance Setter with all the little doodads on it, and it's working for me right now. It's lightweight to carry. It's as I said, the recoil is practically nothing on it. Well, it feels nothing to me. The only downside is, of course, it's only what is it 6 rounds in the magazine? So I have to carry. So I carry 2 extras to be on the safe side. Well, normally I wasn't. Normally I only I didn't carry any extras, but since all the BS is happening, I started to carry the other 2 because you never know. You never know. 8 plus 1. That's right, Rich. Sorry. Yeah. So I started carrying the other 2 just to be on the safe side.
Do you use a mag holder?
Do I use
or
what?
just in your pocket?
Oh, just in my pocket. Well, just in my pocket. If I wear my, oh, it looks like, oh, look, he's carrying vest on. Then I got little pockets inside there that can slide in. But oh my God, look, he's got a carry gun vest. It looks more like a fishing vest. I got a bunch of pockets on it.
You should get some flies and
yeah, that's what I was thinking. To get some flies and the hooks and
colorful ones. Just gonna stick it up on the side.
Long as nobody asks me about fishing, we'll be okay. So, but right now I'm just putting them in my pocket, because they're thin and small enough that it doesn't bother me. Try a Neo mag, Rick. They are great. Is that how you pronounce it? Neo? Neo?
Yeah.
So, all right.
What are those? Did you?
So anyway, that's
It's basically a clip that goes around your magazine to hold it in like your pocket or something. Makes it real easy to, instead of having to go all the way into your pocket to get your magazine, it's kind of like a pen clip.
Oh, okay. Good.
Okay, I'm with you.
Same with a knife or something. All right.
Okay. Anyway, being disabled, what do you need in a carry gun there, Guns and Barbecue?
Honestly, for me, something that would have a really bright sight, like a reflex sight, would be amazing. I haven't really gotten to mess with any reflex sights or anything like that yet. So right now, I still just carry my 329 PD and 44 Magnum. Figured if I don't hit them, I'll at least scare the shit out of them.
Yeah. I guess a brighter sight. Because you do have limited vision, so to be able to see something would be even better, wouldn't it? Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Well, what about you, Patriot? Anything? What are you looking for in a carry gun?
Well, there's a couple things, I guess. The biggest thing is snag free. Obviously, I don't want any issues of catching up and stuff, which most people don't. Obviously, don't want to have those issues, but like the Colt new agent has no sights, and so it comes out very smooth, and there's no issues as far as catching on anything. The 442 revolver, it's smooth. There's nothing that's going to catch on that, and so that's important. I like something with a little weight too, just so that I guess the way I carry it, the holster is really important for me, because some stick out a lot more. If the grips are a little bit longer, they do stick out farther, and I like things to be tucked up nice and tight. And then obviously just I'm really leaning towards revolvers right now, just because of not getting pushed out of battery. If I do have to be close.
Yeah.
If I'm out, depending on where I'm going, I like the revolvers of late, but they're the ones that are covered. Their hammers aren't exposed, and it's just double action only. But yeah, just the size, I guess, and make sure that they don't get snagged up, because that's just nothing I want to deal with. Everybody's probably like that, so.
Midnight Rain says Patriot wants it like his bikini zone, tucked up nice and tight and smooth.
Yeah, it depends on the holster, and that goes with that cold weather stuff too. So
Vanessa says weight of firearm is important to her. The nervous system functions better with the weight. It dampens the shaking. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. I said that like mine is recoil because of my hands. So, Jason Stewart, what are you looking for in a carry gun?
Well, I think it probably always changes. You know what I mean? Your preferences and your situations. But I think the number one thing, whatever you're going to carry, have confidence in it. It needs to be a weapon that you shoot well and performs well for you. If you can't have 100% confidence in it, second nature, then it's probably not a very good carry gun.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. So
I have a question for you, Rick.
yeah.
So I know that you suffer from the arthritis and you want something that's low recoil. When you got into that high stress situation, do you think the recoil would be an issue?
More than likely not. I'm more likely wouldn't even notice I'm shooting it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
I say now practice obviously still becomes an issue, but I'm gonna say if it's something where you can do a lot of dry fire practice and the only time that you really plan on shooting it much is in that high stress situation where you're having that adrenaline dump, might be something to think about.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the reason I changed was because I always carried a full size 45, and practicing with it. I mean, yes, I can hold it and I can shoot it, but it got to the point where, especially during the cold days, it hurt to shoot it. And in the warmer days, maybe an hour or two afterwards, when I got home, my hands would start hurting. That's why I changed. But as you said, yeah, and if my adrenaline's pumping and I pull it out and shoot it, I doubt if I'll notice it until afterwards, but then that's okay. The danger's over.
Now, I got a question
also,
about that. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just gonna ask them. You ever try, like, when you got home, to just ice your hands and do some preventative care?
Oh yeah. I've tried all that stuff, from ice to heat, to everything else, even rubbing in arthritic creams into my hands and stuff like that, trying to help the joints. Unfortunately, my new doctor hasn't told me any different. But as everybody knows, I'm on hydrochloroquine. The dreaded bogey drug that Trump supports. I've been doing it for 5 years, and the reason I was prescribed it was because of my arthritis. Now, it's normally only issued for lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. And one doctor says I have rheumatoid arthritis, another one doesn't. But the one who's issued me these pills said it was rheumatoid, which I tend to believe, because normally what happens is it happens together. Like if your left hand hurts, your right hand hurts. If your left knee hurts, your right knee hurts. With the arthritis stuff, it seems to attack both joints together. So that's what I've been reading up. So I feel that's what I got, and that's like right now. Just thinking about it, my fingers are hurting right now. My left thumb is absolutely killing me. More like when this show's over, I'll put my compression gloves on for the rest of the evening. They seem to help.
Do your knuckles swell up? Is that part of that?
Well, some people it does, but for me, mine don't. That's what makes. So, I mean, sometimes I doubt myself if I have rheumatoid, because I don't have swelling, and my fingers aren't disformed yet, or they're not swollen. But god damn, do the joints hurt? You know?
Yeah. My mom has the rheumatoid, and her knuckles are really large, small hands, and that.
Yeah.
And it's horrible for her, whatever, because that's why we've kind of switched her around. And I was looking at those easies, but I wanted to ask you about mag swaps. How is the mag release and switching magazines on that with your arthritis? I mean, does the mag stick out a little bit more? Or is it more controllable than any other, or do you have to get it like an extended maybe? And how is the button?
Right now, I'm able to do it with my thumb. It's a standard. It's on the Performance Center. It's a nice magazine release on it. It's not extra. It's not over large, but it's not small either. It's just a nice size. It really is. Yeah,
I was just wondering if you got like an extended one or something that was.
No, but if it gets worse, I might look into that, getting one for it. But I mean, like right now, I mean, I was just reading in there when I was going about this, my hands, my knees, right now, my shoulders are pitiful. Every morning when I wake up, I have to rock myself from side to side to swing myself out of the bed because I can't move my arms to get out of my bed. I mean, my left shoulder is better than my right. My right shoulder, I can, without exercise or stretching, I don't know if you've ever seen my camera, I can only get it level with my shoulder, lifting my hand. That's as high as it can go. The rest, I can't lift it any higher. Now, if I sort of like hold it and pull it up in my other hand, I can get it higher. But to actually lift it up, it's almost impossible without it killing me. Yeah. So, yeah. Sabrina says she's got philomyelitis. I can never pronounce it. But, yeah, that is painful. I know a couple of people that have that. It's hell to diagnose, too. Yeah. Now, somebody who's calling me a bitch? Midnight Range or Sean Connery? It might even be somebody else that's not even in the chat, because I heard Never Enough Ammo got mad at me yesterday for calling him a pussy. So,
what'd you call him a pussy for, Rick?
Oh, he was going on about Trump not winning and shouldn't pick the new Supreme Court pick till after the election. It's going to cost him votes. He doesn't know what he's doing. He was ranting on about all other stuff. And I said, God damn, you sounded more like a pussy every day. Now, I typed that in, but before he got to reading it, I'd already left because I got tired of listening to his bullshit. A couple of people emailed me and told me he went off on me in the chat. So I never went back to watch it to find out what he actually.
Well, I don't know. Do you really think it wouldn't hurt Trump to nominate the justice right now as opposed to after the election?
Actually, I think
it's a damn job.
Right now, I think it will.
What's the difference if he does it right this second or the day after the election? He's still doing his job then.
No,
well, I think that. Oh, good.
Do it now, because it will show the country what asses the Democrats are, and some people who are on the fence do think they're going to vote Democrat. Going, oh my God, they're starting this shit again.
I think since there's only 13 days of the Senate being in until election, any damn ways. But anyways, I think if he just put out a nomination, it might push the Democrats to call for Biden to release his, because he's not going to release him, and it's only going to hurt him, I hope. But if he did release him, then it looks like a bunch of fruitcakes on there.
Yeah.
Then you might get some of the never Trumpers to actually go out and vote instead of them just crying and staying home.
The only reason Biden hasn't released his is because Kamala Harris hasn't given him her list yet.
So the only way I don't see it hurting Trump is if he nominates somebody like Amy Coney Barrett, and it's simply because then they can get some votes in the female demographic.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would imagine he will pick her.
Well, I think he needs to pick a justice, and he's going to. He's doing his job. You're supposed to do your job every day, regardless of what the election or the news or people says. He needs to do his job. Doesn't matter if it's going to help him or hurt him. If he didn't do it, the news would find some way to jump on him about that. If he does do it, they jump on him about something. And they bring up so much stuff on Trump, trying to badmouth him. We still got a month. There'll be 10 other subjects that they're going to come up with between now and then. Just do your job, pick the nominee, and move on. I mean, they still got time to blame him for, COVID-19, something else, Iran. I mean, we haven't even had the debates yet. Trump will take care of everything in the debate. But this is all going to get real interesting. Look, we don't even know what they blamed him about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So 3 or 4 weeks from now, we won't even remember the Supreme Court.
Oh, yeah.
No, everything that they nitpick over before that is just nitpicking. But Supreme Court justice, that's going to be a big one that's going to linger. Everybody's going to know that whoever gets nominated was, selected by Trump, and they're going to know that that selection was done before or after the election. I think there's real strategy that's going to have to play into this. It's already being said that this is going to be a highly contested election where it's kind of looking either way. And with that, I don't see the point in rushing. Plus, I don't want anybody thrown in there just to spite the left because we can do it. I don't want another Kavanaugh.
Okay, but here's a question for you. And Pelosi made a good point, right? The reason she said Trump is rushing is because the Supreme Court is hearing oral arguments on the rest of the affordable, the Obamacare. And if the court split 4-4, you're fucked. We need to get rid of Obamacare.
People are worried they're going to throw a fit about it, but what are they going to do that they're not doing right now? Rioting?
Yeah.
Burn stuff, cry about stuff, scream at the moon. I mean, the president. There's only two things that are stated in the Constitution about selecting a justice. It's either the president from the time he's in there, or her, whatever, until the day he leaves office. That's in there. If there's a vacancy, he is to nominate someone. That's just right. It. That's all he's got to do. Yep. It's not him picking anything. He nominates who he thinks. Then the Senate has their job of either affirming or denying the person. And that's it. But what I'm worried about is McConnell will just say, all right, well, he made the nomination. Let's vote on this. Because we got to remember, people like McConnell were against Trump in his first run. So do you think they're really worried about if he gets reelected again? Compared to Biden? Probably.
They'd rather take Trump than Biden.
I don't know. I mean, it's whatever.
He's got his job is select. There's a vacancy. He's the president. He needs to do it. Don't care what the media says or anything else. I mean, why? I mean, is the rioting going to be any less if he doesn't? No. Are they going to riot before or after the election? Yes. So you might as well go ahead and do it. Get it done out of the way. But
again, if you're sitting there saying, well, if they're going to riot or whatnot, it's going to happen either way. Well, do those riots end up hurting Trump in the long run right before the election?
No,
because
he's not doing it.
What's that?
I mean, he's not the one rioting. He's
Yeah,
not
he's not the
calling
one
for riot.
rioting. But we all know how the media is going to spin it too, and they're going to paint it as, well, if Trump wouldn't have done this, and it's going to be Trump's fault, and that
Hey,
could cost him votes.
the only way Trump's going to lose this one, and I'm afraid it might happen, is by the mail-in ballot fraud they're pulling. You know, if he doesn't win the electoral college by a huge amount, right, that the whatever votes come in by mail won't matter, because magically a whole bunch of mail-in ballots will show up and they all happen to be Democrat votes. You know,
The presidential election is so hard to. It's almost impossible to affect. I mean, there's so many precincts, there's so many sections. I mean, but they pushed that, and there's a lot of people out there that think that things are going to affect it. I mean, that's.
I
gotta take a breath.
Oh yeah, I know.
I say they should just do it. I mean, get it over with. Honestly, we didn't elect him to act like a typical politician and leverage things or whatever. Do your job. Let it be what it is. He's not responsible for people running around acting like a dumbass. So, in my opinion, so I think, like Jason said, they're going to use an excuse either way. It doesn't matter what he does. They don't like him, so whatever he does is wrong in one form, shape, or another. So do the job, and no matter what you do, somebody's going to be happy or unhappy. So get it done.
He's going off that list that he's put out. Everybody's been able to go over that list that should if they wanted to. So everybody knows the group, and it's been cut down to two or three. It's not a surprise on who he's going to pick. No. And so, anybody that knows their records, if they have issue with that, then they have more issues,
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if that's your job, it doesn't matter what I mean, I don't see any reason for cow towing or whatever they call that, cow tipping. No, that's pushing them over. That's snobs thing.
Cow talon.
Whatever it is,
no.
Bowing down to people because they're going to get mad. That's not part of his job. His job is to pick people when it comes up. It's not a political thing. That should, we've let it be a political thing. And, ever since the 60s, when they push Vader there, Ruth, in there, and they allowed it to be that way, is because the progressives want somebody on the court that is going to legislate from the bench, not because that's right. It's because they know they can't get their twisted shit through the legislation the way it should be and the way it's supposed to be. And so that's why they're getting so up in arms, is because if they lose that, they're not going to be able to push through all this other nonsense that gets through.
Yeah. Oh, Squibload wants to know, is this show going to be as soft and weak as Ghost Show last night? I didn't see Ghost Show last night, so
yeah,
I don't know.
It's not going to be hard as like a car accident or anything, but we won't have to edit it.
Anyway, Kingpin, you're a good Trump man. What do you think of all this? What should he do?
First thing I got to ask is, whose chat were you trolling? You.
Lefty Matt.
Oh, never enough ammo.
Yeah, well, screw that dude. He's a really nice guy. He's a smart guy, but when it comes to politics, he's an idiot.
Oh yeah. That's why I said what I did.
Yeah.
I said I couldn't stand around and listen to it anymore, so I bailed. Wasn't because I was scared of what he was going to say. It was I just got tired of listening to it. No. I've gone on there. I watched it because it's meant to be hasty headlines. When he originally started, it was meant to be 15, 20 minutes of headlines. Now he's going to an hour hour and 20 minutes. I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, you know? So, and it's all his opinion. But anyway, that's totally off subject. So what's your opinion on Trump picking a Supreme Court before the election, good or bad?
It's fantastic. I think he should do it, and I think they should advise and consent. And if they feel like Coney Barrett or the other two ladies are good, push them through. Now, when you say push them through, these people have already been vetted. They're already at the top of the game in the legal world. So it's not like some schmuck off the street named Kingpin is going to get moved into SCOTUS. Don't forget to vote for SCOTUS, Kingpin. But it's not, even if they push them through without a hearing and all that other kind of stuff, you're getting highly, highly qualified people. No one's going to care. Who cares? If there's 3 people that don't vote for Trump, who cares? I don't care about that. And if we think that the riots and this and that and the third, how many people are going to be mad that Donald Trump pushed through a Supreme Court justice? So mad at him that they're not going to vote when these lefties burn their city down. How many Trump supporters are being made every time one of these dumpsters get lit on fire? Every time Black Lives Matter gets spray painted somewhere? Every time a piece of glass gets broken in front of a McDonald's? That's creating Trump supporters by the hundreds and hundreds. And you can look at the rallies. There's thousands of people at these rallies. Online, there's thousands more watching for hours, for 2 hours. No one's showing up to a Joe Biden event. Nobody. And if you think that these Black Lives Matter and Antifa rejects are going to hit the polls, they didn't vote for Bernie twice. Two presidential elections in a row, this massive crowd of anarchists didn't go to the polls. So as long as we show up in droves and play to win, then we're going to win. If we keep playing this soft, well, I'm worried about offending somebody. These people hate you. They want us dead. If you're a gun owner, you are a terrorist. Whether you are an NRA supporter or not, whether you hate them or you love them, when they see you and you talk about guns, you are NRA. So you are a terrorist to these people. You are a racist to these people. Rob's the only person of color on the panel. Rob is a white supremacist.
Absolutely.
They hate his guts. They want us all dead. So why do we care if we offend some of them?
I don't think, like you're saying, I don't think we're offending any Trump supporter. But
I don't think Chicago having 300% or New York having a 300% increase in murders is creating a bunch of Joe Biden fans.
The problem is you're talking about the extremists, the far left, and that's not what we have to worry about. We have to worry about the moderates who are in the middle on the fence.
The moderates in the middle are sick and tired of their businesses being burnt down.
And being told that it's part of what it's all about.
They want their kids to go back to school. There was a news report today in one of my local schools. 48% of the students withdrawed from that school. One school, 48% of the students, because it's one of the few counties left that's all internet school instead of having kids go back to the schools. 48%. You think all those moderates are cool with Joe Biden shutting the economy down and shutting schools back down? No. I get it. Masses amounts of people are stupid and dangerous. But when they go home and sit on their couch and start looking at their checkbook and looking at their families, this isn't what they're going to vote for. They're not going to allow the American people have worked way too hard and put up with way too much for so many years to just let it all be destroyed.
As Squiblo says, fuck the moderates. They don't stand for
everybody always brings up the moderates, and you can't see them, you can't count them, and it's just like that, you know. I mean, they may be one way just because they're talking to, you know, the dick at work or whatever that has a pink bumper sticker or something. But like Kingpin said, you know, when they go home, that's a totally different story. I mean, everybody knows somebody that's like that. That's like, oh yeah, I'm gung ho. I want, you know, everybody to have pink hats on. And you know, as soon as they're out of there, it's like, man, them guys are stupid. But you know, I work there, or whatever their pansy ways are. But I don't know. Everybody always throws up the moderates, and I don't see it. Especially, I mean, you can't think of a moderate deciding, well, gee, we could have, you know, the things good like they were, you know, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, or we can have what it's been for the last 6 months. You know, we can have campfires on the street. That'll be legal with Biden, but I can't see anybody with any common sense, you know, going that route and saying, well, I think Biden will be a better choice. Just from, I mean, I don't know, unless you just sit and watch, you know, the network news and have that, you know, intravenously in your veins, and that's all you know.
You got
But even that, I mean,
Do you really think there's people out there that haven't made their mind up yet?
there's so few. There's so few of those people that haven't made their mind up, and most of those people don't know anything. And a lot of them are probably young, coming out of college, you know, fresh from being having their brains destroyed by this professor, and then the real life actually hitting them. So they're trying to figure out which way to go. But if you look at platforms, just take the Joe Biden out, take Donald Trump out, and look at platforms. Do you think people are really interested in paying a whole bunch of new taxes? Do you really think people are interested in spending trillions of dollars on windmills and solar panels and getting rid of their cars and wearing a mask and doing all this other and having abortions while the baby's being born, selling body parts, you know, harvesting babies, all these platforms that the Democrats stand for? You've got to put your eyes in there. And if you got somebody that's a moderate that's like, oh, I don't know if I want to vote for Democrats or if I want to vote for Republicans, start telling them the difference between the two parties. Start telling them the Democrats are cool with cutting your baby up at 9 months. Start telling them those same Democrats want you to pay for me to cut my baby up at 9 months. They want you to pay for me to go to college. They want you to pay the debt that my friends already accrued. They want the government to take care of everything. Your education, your health care.
They want your tax dollar to pay the all the free medication for people who get in here legally.
Then you look at results. You got Democrats and crappy Republicans ship their jobs, ship their medication to China, ship their jobs all over the world, shut down our factories, put on all kinds of stupid EPA regulations and all the stuff that has happened. You know, then the racial tension that the Washington, D.C. has started. There is, when you walk out on the street, maybe right now because all the people, you know, gathered together, but on your regular average every day, you don't see racism. You don't see sexism. You don't see police brutality. You don't see all this boogeyman stuff that Don Lemon tells you about every day. It's not out there. It's isolated. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I'm saying it's isolated. Then you look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump came in and they said he was going to destroy welfare. He was going to destroy food stamps. What did he do? He cut welfare and he cut food stamps. What happened to all those people? They went and got jobs and lived better lives. That's what happened. When you take welfare away from people, some of them will starve to death and then you put them in the grave. And then other people will put their shoes on and go live better lives. You know, all these different kinds of results. You got to take the that's why I say we're just as emotional as the left. You say Donald Trump and people on the right start freaking out. He hasn't got anything accomplished. Why isn't Hillary in jail? And oh my gosh. And calm down a minute and look at the statistics of what's happened. The stock market, the highest it's ever been. They shut the government down with the coronavirus and it tanked. Now go back and look at the stock market, setting records again. Economy, the consumer sentiment.
It's up.
You know, consumer sentiment is up. Manufacturing is up. All this kind of stuff is still moving, and we've still got half the states that won't let people get their hair cut. You've got to stop and rationally think about this stuff and stop getting jazzed up because you hear the word Donald Trump and you get all triggered.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I've said this myself, I'm sort of like a one item voter. I think of the Second Amendment. Yes, he told the Justice Department to do something about the bump stocks, and they did. But that's the only fault I can find in anything he's done so far, personally. Unless I'm missing something here.
I think that the bump stock thing was a stupid idea. I think it was a really bad idea. But who'd he hear that from? Us. We told him that. Because we got on the internet and we said, screw that piece of plastic. I don't care about that. And then the NRA was like, yeah, screw that piece of plastic. We don't care about that. And so he was like, all right, get rid of that piece of plastic. Nobody cares about that. Donald Trump, nobody in D.C., half of us didn't even know what a bump stock was until they started talking about it.
Just for the record, I signed like the GOA paper to have him not do that. But I know, it may not have counted for much, but I wasn't on board.
And that's the effort. That's the effort that you got to make. Rob made his specific effort to do what he could do. And it wasn't good enough, but he can still hold his head high and say, I voted against it or whatever. So you got to put in the perspective of what's going on. Donald Trump, name any politician, name one. And don't even say Ted Cruz because he's a spineless coward until he grew a beard. The bump stock was history. That wasn't going to make it through. And then if we go back and once again, we'll talk about take the guns first. Take the emotion away from it and listen to what he was talking about. He was talking about people who have been identified as dangerous with firearms, dangerous to the public safety. Take their guns. Is that right? No, because there's still a Second Amendment. There's still, due process and all that stuff. Did he do any of it? No. Red flag laws. Donald Trump didn't invent the red flag law. He hasn't passed the red flag law. Matter of fact, Mitch McConnell said Donald Trump won't sign the red flag law. A couple weeks after he started talking about it being a good idea, he was making fun of Chris Cuomo and said maybe we should red flag law him. All these other states that passed the red flag law, Donald Trump didn't have nothing to do with that. It's the state's right to do that. And it's the state's fault for letting it happen. Maryland did it, so we're just as guilty. We allowed the red flag law to come in.
I mean, Indiana's had one since 2005. A red flag law,
Just like anything else, you've got to step back and rationally think about what's going on. If you just go on raw emotions or muscle memory, you're going to end up hurt.
Yeah, Scribblow's got it right. He said the bump stock issue isn't enough to throw away your vote or vote for the side that does more damage to the Second Amendment. I agree with him.
And the problem I have, and anybody else, I'm jazzed up. So if I'm cutting anybody off, or you guys want to come in, just tell me to shut up. But the problem I have with one issue voters is, especially when it comes to the Second Amendment, they've been fighting against the Second Amendment since the beginning, for 240 years, however long the thing's been written. And they've taken some big chunks and they've taken a bunch of little tiny chunks. Look at your First Amendment right. The First Amendment right is stomped on hundreds of times a day, and nobody does anything about it. We actually bow and say, "Please, YouTube, allow us to stay on here. We'll play good. We'll say what you want us to say. And we'll do what you want us to do."
Yeah, we won't show guns on live chat anymore.
You can't. Plus, you walk into your company and you got your MAGA hat on, and they say, "Take the hat off or you're fired." What are you going to do? Shoot your boss? If he puts up a no gun sign in front of his store, or she does, are you going to shoot them? No, you can't use your gun to do that. Look at this vaccine thing coming up. They're going to try to make it mandatory for vaccines, one way or the other, whether it's statewide or federal wide. You look at the mask mandate. Look at the shutdown. All these different kinds of issues that have nothing to do with guns that you've got to see past just one issue. Even with me, I'm passionate about abortion. Abortion's not the only thing I care about. And I understand people being one issue voters because that's the most important thing to them, and I appreciate that. Whether it's the second, the fifth, the first, but you've got to look at the whole big picture.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, as I said, I'm a single issue voter. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe I wasn't before, but since I've gotten the guns and I understand, well, I don't know if I really understand it all still, but the Second Amendment is very important.
Let me ask you this,
and
Rick.
if a Democrat comes or libertarian says a bunch of great stuff that I love, but it says, no, let's ban the AR-15. I'm sorry, he's not getting my vote.
Well, let's flip the script on that. Let's say Joe Biden comes out today and says, we're going to tear down the wall, we're going to raise your taxes, we're going to make you wear a mask, we're going to shut everything that Joe Biden's been talking about doing, we're going to defund the police. All the real joke, not the new stuff that he's been saying, but the stuff that their whole platform is. We're going to cut down your nuclear family. But I guarantee we won't go after any gun laws. No more new gun laws. That's a promise. Everything that's there is going to have to stay because it's too hard to get rid of a law. But I promise no more gun laws. You're going to go vote for Joe Biden?
No.
Then there you go. You're not a one-issue voter. The Second Amendment may be your most important issue, which I totally understand because it should be. The first and the second should be everybody's most important issues. But we're not a one-issue voter.
Yeah, but then again, I understand what you're saying, but I mean, I don't trust a Democrat.
Right, but you just said as long as they protect the second, then I'll vote for them. If they talk about something negative on the second, they're not getting my vote. And I understand that. They can scream about all the cool stuff that they like, and if they're like, but we're going to ban all guns, I can't get down with that. I can't vote for somebody, even if you're going to give me 50 things that I really, really like, and you're going to take my guns away. No, can't have that. No way. But if you're going to destroy my life but allow me to have guns, I'm not voting for you either.
Yeah. I mean, New York Outcast, you've been very quiet in this chat. What's your opinion?
Guns are great. No. No, I haven't had much to say. Honestly, I agree a lot with what Kingpin says. So, I think a lot of points are, kind of hit well. So, I mean, not 100% with everything, I guess. I personally, I'm still what I consider, a Trump guy, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a Trump guy, but at this point, I'd vote for Trump. So, you know what I mean? But I still am upset that, more action wasn't taken. Whether he could or not is another story. But, telling people you are and then can't get something done. I mean, that's, people are tired of that crap, even if it's not outstanding, coming in and saying you're going to try to do this, try to do that, and work towards it, you get shut down. It's better than making your whole stance on what 3 key points I think that didn't get done. You know what I mean? So, not saying he's a bad guy. I'm just stating,
Well, what 3?
I'm not on the left, but I kind of feel that way too. So, and that's where I differ. But all in all, I agree with pretty much what you're saying. So.
What 3 points? What 3 points are you talking about? We don't have to go deep in. I was just curious.
Yeah, well, I would have liked to seen Hillary in jail. I'd like to see people getting thrown up on TV saying, we're cleaning out the White House. This guy's fraud here. This is that. Whatever. Things being done, and the whole wall aspect. And to me, it's not even the fact that I want a wall. It's just I think it makes sense. But that's something he stated. He's great at making walls. We build things. That's what I do. Da 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 da. So let's get shit done. So I don't know. I don't go to a customer's house, tell them, pitch them a bid, and then come in and do something different after I'm hired to do the job. Because the contractor doesn't have that material or whatever. I still got to find it. Maybe it'll change, but I can't just rearrange their house the way I want to because it's just what's convenient for me. It doesn't work that way.
Well, I can concede to the Hillary thing because, even though she's Hillary Clinton, I still think they should be investigating her a lot more. And to drain the swamp, he has drained the swamp in a trickle, I would say, but he hasn't drained it as not much. So I can get with you on both those points. The wall thing, he fought and fought and fought with the whole wall thing, and he got 300 miles of it built by the end of this year. So I mean, the wall's going up. There's plenty of wall up there. Plus, there's a bunch of independent landowners that independently put walls up on their property. So the wall thing is happening. And I remember I heard you guys talk about it last week about Mexico paying for it, and I get it. You know, I kind of never considered that to be serious, even though he kind of talked about it like it was serious. So for people who took it seriously, I understand that. But Rick did make a good point with all the tariffs that he's put on Mexico. I mean, they're paying for it, but that's not the same as the way he was promoting it. I get
Sure,
that.
sure.
I can understand the points you're coming from. I just never had a chance to ask you about that yet.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you said drain the swamp. As you said, he's doing it as a trickle. He's got a crack in the wall. That's about all he's done so far, you know. But the Hillary thing, yes, I wish he'd done something on that too. But really, I mean, all he could have done was gone to the DOJ and said, do something.
You got to also remember every turn he's had some kind of pile of garbage thrown at him. You know, and anything that you do as far as procedurally, you know, you have to have people do it when you tell them to do it. And I mean, as we've seen with the FBI and all this, you know, the people that have been there for a while, you know, it's just, I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody that could just go in and say, you know, hey, I'm not with you guys, and I'm getting rid of you, and you. You know, unless it was some, you know, executive action or something. There's really nothing personally he can do unless he has a group that's following along and, you know, going through and following through with that. But
yeah, I agree with you. I mean, he
and
might
I would
have got rid
also
of
add
politicians, but he got rid of people like in the FBI and stuff, and the intelligence community who were fighting against him. So that makes them part of the swamp, you know. So he worked on those.
Plus, he did make a ton of promises that he kept, and then he also did a bunch of stuff that he didn't say he was going to do. You know, he didn't say he was going to broker 3 peace deals. You know, South Korea. Hey, check it out. Headline: South Korea and North Korea aren't at war anymore. Thanks, Trump.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stuff that he did do, but going back to Rob's points, I can tell those are reasonable. Those are definitely reasonable issues. I can get with that. I don't 100% agree, but I can understand concern there.
Look, I think there's 100 million voters out there that don't watch the news, that only catch little bits of the news. The news and the politics is the least thing that they have going on in their life. And those people are going to go vote. And they've lived high on the hog for 3 years. I don't think anybody's complaining about the economy or their job for 3 years. Trump is the first president in my lifetime that ever come out and really lowered your taxes. Not come up with some, oh, well, you know, it's $1,000 per family every year for some crazy tax break that nobody got, but to really lower your taxes and not raise your taxes. He did that. Nobody else has done it. Biden has declared it many times. Oh, we got to raise your taxes. We're going to tax everything. There's people out there that don't care about politics, but they hear that. And then they care about their taxes. And they've been put through Russia collusion, fake news, till they're not interested in it. But they got the Democrats crying for 3 years, one thing after another, to impeachment, to everything, and they have common sense. And they see through it all. I'm sure they do. They, like I said, they don't get into CNN and our chats or anything or involved with it at all. They care about their jobs. They care about their money and coming home to their family. And they're going to vote. It's going to be, even if they try to cheat as much as they can, this will probably be the big landslide. Like, what was it, Reagan, Mondale, or Bush to caucus somebody. But this will be the biggest one-sided election of all time. You wait and see. Not everybody hates Trump. Only CNN hates Trump.
One thing that we have to be aware of, and I'm talking to us specifically today, the people here on the panel and the people out in the chat, because I know y'all, and I know that you're politically active and you care about what happens in your neighborhood. If the Republicans say just everything goes great and the Republicans win the House and the Senate and the presidency and we've got tra-la-la going on in Washington, D.C., if they don't do something about Obamacare, forget about it. Forget about it. Because people can't keep spending $6,000 premiums and, selling their cars so they can pay for their insurance and stuff like that. That's one of the things that the Republicans have got to get done. Is something done about the Obamacare premiums, because that's going to be huge for people. If the Republicans get voted in and don't do what they said, bad news for a Republican winning another seat.
Yeah, now that's what I was saying earlier. That's why he should push to have her or whoever he selects in as a justice, because they're hearing oral arguments on that on the 10th of November.
And that's another thing. We talked about it on Budgets Chat. I think it was me, him, and Squib were off air. I'm not talking out of line, so I'm sharing something that is probably free to be shared. But we talked about push these Republicans in. Let's have a red MAGA wave and let them know day one, you guys are on the thinnest ice that there is. If you said you're going to fix that pothole out front, you better have that pothole fixed quickly, or we're going to vote Democrat. Or we're going to burn these cities down. You got two choices. Either keep your seat or lose it, or we're going to burn the thing down. And when the silent majority starts burning stuff down, they're really going to regret that. But if they don't, if you vote for John Smith and John Smith doesn't fix that pothole, you bounce John Smith's butt out immediately.
Yeah, I don't know about we're gonna burn stuff down. I mean, that's it don't really make us much better in a sense. I understand the threat, but maybe we'll just stop playing the game and stop paying taxes and all that type of stuff or something. What do you call it? Civil disobedience without restitution sounds better, but
that would be the best if you could mobilize the silent majority and have everybody stop paying their taxes. Their taxes at the end of the year, your paycheck and sales tax, all that's going to happen. Then that would be good. But if we give you the chance to make this place better and you don't, we're going to vote for the other guy. And like I said, if you force us, I'm kind of being a little bit hyperbolic there, but if you force us to revolt on the right, then we'll do it a lot better than they're doing it right now. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And as you said, burn it down. I mean, but we wouldn't burn it down physically. We would do it in other ways that make a difference. All they're doing right now is hurting themselves. I mean, if they're burning down a business that's owned in the town of Louisville tonight, all they're doing is hurting themselves.
Baltimore's a perfect example. When the gangbanger Freddie Gray, who should have been killed by one of the guys on the corner, killed him. Basically, the cops didn't kill Freddie Gray. That's whatever. But when they started burning all those businesses down, all those businesses were like, I'm not coming back. You were shooting at me yesterday, then you burnt my store down today. So now, what are you going to do? Where are you going to shop at?
Yeah.
And plus, people that do build back, prices are up. I mean, what insurance does cover, which most insurance doesn't cover what they term as terroristic acts, but if your insurance does cover, the cost is going to go up. The cost is going to be passed to the consumer. So you're really shooting yourself in the foot. And then got public stuff and statues and government property. Even though I'm not a fan of some of the stuff our government does, I'd like to see it fixed and replaced. But that's basically our money. You might as well just beat yourself up and burn your own house down, and nobody's got to go anywhere. Save the gas.
Yeah, what you call it though? But you were right there. I mean, I saw a couple of those protesters so-called protesters, rioters, going, well, these places have got insurance. And I'm thinking, you dumb, stupid ass. You're paying for that. When they reopen, their prices are going to be higher. And so you're going to have to pay more for that item that you want. You know, I'm thinking, God damn, don't they teach them anything in school nowadays?
Actually, I read that 40% of all businesses, small businesses, are not insured at all, and 75% of them are underinsured if they are insured. So the 2 billion that they said were lost in that one city in Minneapolis, so there's really probably more than like 4 billion in actual damages.
Yeah.
The number one way to start fighting back and start fighting back in a positive way is stop feeding into the narrative. Like you just nailed it there, Rick. You air quoted the protesters. How 10 years ago, if 5,000 people were out in the streets breaking car windows, immediately we would have called it riots. Now what do we call it? Unrest. Civil unrest. You know, so as long as we continue to use their words like civil unrest, that's assault weapon. You know, they got assault weapon in on us. Now every single firearm is an assault weapon because we didn't fight it right back then, or they beat us. I don't know exactly. That's before my time when assault weapon happened. But now civil unrest. Even the people on conservative radio and conservative television and conservative YouTube chats call it civil unrest. Well, now you're feeding into what they're telling you. They told you this riot is now called civil unrest.
Classic Marxism. That's how they rename everything. Political correctness, just like what you're saying. They rename everything to have a gentle term when it has to focus on them, and a harsh term when it focuses on traditional values.
Plus, they switch it up on you, and let's go with the most famous one. And I'll just start with the politically correct era because I don't want to maybe upset somebody in the chat for saying the wrong words. Black people. No, colored people. Then it turned to black people. Then it turned to African Americans. Now, if you call some dude on a radio show said that Kamala Harris was the first colored vice presidential candidate, and he got fired from his job. And in the letter in the report that they wrote in the New York Times writer said person of color. So if you flip the words around, you can't call somebody a colored person, but you can call them a person of color.
Yeah, but here's another question for you. That organization, was it the ACCP or whatever it's called? That's for the advancement for colored people.
Right.
That's their name.
I think the best way to do it would ask black people what they want to be called. And most of them, surprise, would rather just be called people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or American. That's always a nice one.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm going to admit right here in front of everybody, I mean, like if I was having a conversation with a bunch of people, then I was talking, then the next day or later on that day, I was talking to somebody else. And I said, oh, yeah, what's his name said so-and-so. And he goes, who's that? And I would say that the black guy that was there. I've said that. So, I mean, that makes me racist, I guess.
That's the way I talk every single day. If I've got to, it's a perfect example. If I've got to describe, if I'm in a group of people, I'll be like, oh, yeah, you don't know him, the Asian dude. Or you don't know him, the Spanish guy. Or, oh, yeah, you might not know him, the black dude I was with.
You ought to hear my kids. My twins are 9, and I'll say, who are you talking about? And it says, Rajiv's. I was like, well, what does Rajiv look like? And they won't just say, oh, he's the Indian kid. They'll say, oh, he's the one with black hair, and his hair's real straight, and
you figure it out.
I know.
That's leaked in the police. If you listen in a lot of these descriptions, In the news, the news is corrupt. So a lot of times they'll only put it in if it's gonna make them have a good headline. But even the police descriptions, you can't call in on it's a 6 foot tall guy with brown hair wearing a blue hat and blue jeans. Okay, is he a white dude? Is he Spanish dude? Is he black dude? Oh, he's got a white shirt on too. And these are police talking this way.
Yeah.
That started about 20 years ago. I remember it was a big time on the news that they were going to start doing that. I'm like, well, how do you find a perpetrator if you can't describe the perpetrator? And they were like, well, it brings in that racism, reinforcing that that it was a black male perpetrator, and so that's why they stopped doing that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, Rich Wright put it in there. What I was saying, the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Whoa! We cannot call him Rich White anymore. It is Rich Caucasian.
Yeah. Anyway,
even that, when you call every white person a Caucasian, you're an idiot. Caucus people are specific amounts of people. Like if you really want to get broken down into it, the caucus people are a specific group of people. Yeah, there was white people in other parts of the world, not just the Caucasus. Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
Can you stop expecting people to think? My goodness.
I know. Yeah, Squibload said they recently had an Amber Alert. No skin color. What the fuck? Yeah, I agree with you. It's getting stupid. It really is.
Do you remember when it was okay to be different? Like, America is made up of every mix of everybody, from every nationality to every color to we're all different. That's why we're all not identical twins. It used to be you celebrated our freedom and your individuality. If you were a different anything, you celebrated that. It didn't have to be even across the board and fair. And if you're not this, you're racist. It should be, everybody's different. We celebrate that. That's why we're a nation of different people. So, it's just because you're this or you're that, or you say this or you can't describe that anymore. Why? You can't change it. So, celebrate you're different. Celebrate that makes me more individual than you, so you can tell us apart, so we can both do what we want in this country. I've had enough of all this equal rights and fair and this and that. Everybody should be treated the same all the way across the board, and that should just be that.
Yeah, variety is a good thing.
Thanks, Jason.
Right. Well, see, that leads me back to my original point about platforms. The Republicans aren't pushing the 1619 project. The Republicans aren't the ones that are trying to resegregate schools. The Democrats are doing that. It's not like I'm making this stuff up. They want separate college campuses. They want separate college dorms. They've already got in all these Ivy League schools. If you're an Asian person, you get screwed if you apply to an Ivy League school, because they make you get higher test scores, and they also put your name at the bottom of the list. If not, let's face the fact, Yale would be full of Asian people. Everybody that goes to Yale, Princeton, Harvard, they'd all be Asian people because they're better students than regular Americans or other Americans, however you want to put it. So they're already, but you can't talk about that. Nobody cares about the Asian people. And not to mention the fact, when you look at the statistics, Asian families, which are tightly knit nuclear families, are financially and educationally the top producers in this country.
Jewish people,
real families.
Jewish people are also discriminated against at these Ivy Leagues. They only say it takes a certain amount of Jewish people.
Now watch carefully. If this COVID stuff keeps going on, you people that have kids in school, they're going to resegregate your kids' schools. Mark my words, you can call me crazy if you want, but when they start slowly opening these schools, they've already said that they're going to bring in the less fortunate, and they're going to bring in special needs kids first, so because they got smaller classes and stuff like that. That less fortunate is going to say, "Hey, black kids, brown kids, Muslim kids, not hey, you white boys, go sit over there." They're gonna do that. That's going to happen. They're trying to do it in the colleges right now. They're going to teach your children this. Obviously, I don't have kids, but just because I don't have kids doesn't mean that I can't have an opinion and have a feeling about it. Be careful of your children. They're coming after your children. Forget about your gun. Forget about your job and all this other stuff. Look your children in the eye. And yes, I hate doing this, but I'm going to plead to the emotion, which I don't do. Look your children in the eye. And then imagine that kid coming home and calling you a racist because you believe in America. Because that's what they're going to get taught in schools. Not only that, they're going to say, "I don't think I'm a boy. I don't think I'm a girl. I can be whatever I want." Because in elementary school, they taught them that trans people are really a thing. And that if you don't believe that there's 800 different genders, you're a racist. And hey, little white kids, in the 1619 project, we're going to teach you that you are a racist. You can't avoid it. Nothing you can do. You were born with it. You were going to die with it because you've got white skin. It's inherent in you. Not making this stuff up. If you got kids in school, or your friends got kids, or you just got kids in the neighborhood you care about, start paying attention because they're assaulting your children.
I can testify it. My kids are in fourth grade. My twins are, and last year in third grade, my son came home and said, "I could be a girl. I could be a boy. I could be whatever I want to be." And I'm like, "You're a boy. You're not going to change any of that. I can tell the way you look at girls."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it is. I totally agree with you there, Kingpin. It is. It's terrible.
I don't mean to be hyperbolic, and like I said, I hate pushing toward the emotional side of things, but this is serious. We're not playing games anymore. This is the most critical time of anyone that is alive's life. So you're 98 years old. This is the most important time of your life. If you're 9 years old, this is the most important time in your life. 2020, a lot of people think 2020 sucks. I think 2020 is one giant opportunity for us to stomp out this evilness that's trying to destroy our country, our values, our morals, and our founding. We can stomp. We can't. We're not going to get rid of it forever, but we can smash it down for another 50, 100 years and really put it in its place, or we can be overtaken by it.
Yeah, I feel that we are, for lack of a better word, drawing that line in the sand. They step over it. We go back a little bit more and draw another line, and they come forward and take a little bit more, and that's what's been happening over the last 40 years.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing that happens with our gun rights. You always hear them say, compromise. Well, we've done enough compromise. We bend over backwards all the time and give a little, and they just take. We need to put our foot down and say we're not giving anymore. And in fact, we're going to take back and start pushing for things like pay to be abolished, shit like that.
And when you think about it, what gun law have they given us back that they've taken? Not one.
None.
Well, could you consider the assault weapons ban? Would you consider that?
No, I mean that was
on a time
lapse. Yeah.
So okay, so you all right? Yeah, that makes sense. When it was first initiated, you knew when it was going to end already. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they want to do a new one now, which will be permanent.
Hey, did you see they set up the people at this crazy university set up a cafe for non-colored people, and so white people could go to this cafe and discuss their racial problems and their racial past. So I don't know if they're eavesdropping on them to make sure that they're talking about how racist they are or what's going on in there, but it does seem kind of crazy that they're now setting up cafes and pushing only white people to go there. It seems like everything's going backwards. I just don't understand the whole segregation thing. I mean, Martin Luther King was, to be colorblind. It seems like all that was lost.
Well, that's like I've heard Black Lives Matter actually say that they want schools segregated and crap like that. Again, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But then I've talked to people. Like, how many people on the panel right now can say that they talk to people on the other side of the spectrum from them and actually listen to what they're saying and try and understand where they're coming from?
I listen to them all the time, and I try to understand all the time, and I can never understand because we have different sets of morals.
Yep. I was just curious, but one of the things that I kept hearing when I would talk to some of them, I'd say, Black Lives Matter saying they're for segregation. They want schools segregated, all this fun jazz. I'm like, they're setting back the civil rights movement decades if that were to happen. And I was like, Dr. King didn't march for that. And their retort would be, you white people killed Dr. King. I'm like, hey, Peckerwood, have you looked at your arm lately? Because we're the same tone.
Yeah. Oh, well, guys, do you want to carry on or should we call it quits? Because it's 8:16.
That's your decision, Captain. You're driving this ship. We're just here to help you guide.
No, I mean, I don't mind staying on a little bit longer. My grilled cheese sandwiches can wait.
I did want to add
I thought you were done with those last week.
Do what?
I thought you were done with those last week.
I know.
I remember New York Outcast was in that chat too.
Yeah, I slipped up. I'm slipping up. But since last Wednesday, I've lost 2 pounds in a week.
There you go.
Okay, so
it's all about baby steps.
That's right. So I'm getting there. I cut out drinking soda. Also, I hadn't drunk soda for 2.5, 3 years. But then when I moved here, I started back drinking soda. And, it's like smoking. Once you start, you can't stop again. But I've gone cold turkey on the soda. I'm drinking unsweetened iced tea now. So there we go.
Better for you.
What?
I said it was better for you.
Oh yeah. But anyway, we went out totally off topic there, talking about
diuretic though. So too much of that isn't good as well. But I'm done. I'm done.
Jesus Christ! I mean, if I listened to you, I might as well slit my throat now.
All in moderation. That's all I'm saying. All in moderation.
I got a little something we can talk about just for a second there, Rick, if you don't mind. Yeah. I'm not too sure how many of you out there know the YouTuber Bald and Curious, but he's a really cool dude. He hangs out over on the Scotsman's channel and Reload and stuff. I'm going to put a link to his latest video. He's doing a giveaway for 1911 with some Molon Labe grips. He said it's basically a new gun. He is a competition shooter, but he's not using this gun, so it's not like it's shot out. He said it's basically a brand new gun, only a couple magazines have went through it, 45 ACP. If I'm not mistaken, it's either 100 rounds or 500 rounds of 45 ACP.
500 rounds.
It's 500 rounds of 45.
A holster.
A holster for the gun, whether inside it or outside the waistband, you get to choose. And if that's $100 raffle ticket. He's got some friends that are having some issues with their health and affording health care. So he's trying to save, what's the word? He's trying to raise up some money to help his friends' financial problems.
It's a GoFundMe. The father had passed away from cancer. Now the mother's about to pass away from cancer. So it's for the daughter.
Yeah.
He's trying to raise $10,000.
Now, there's other ways. If you don't want to pay electronically, there's other ways to contact Val. Just leave him a comment. in the comment section, and he'll let you know how to get a hold of him if you don't want to donate electronically. But every $100 gets you a entry into the 1911 package. If you're not interested in the 1911 and you don't want to spend $100, you can spend 20 and get some type of real fancy Oakley carrying kit and sets of glasses with different lenses and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you guys are into sunglasses, then you probably know. I don't really care. I get cheap gas station sunglasses. But that's a $20 entry. So every $20 gets you an entry in that. Or if you don't want none of it, you can always just donate anyway. But I left the link out in the chat. Go check that out. And hopefully one of you win.
Yeah, okay.
Heck
Talking about sunglasses, as you guys know, I've ordered my they haven't come in yet. I've ordered my contact lenses so I can start wearing my Ray-Bans again, so I can look cool. You know.
Rick wears his sunglasses at night.
Oh yeah.
Want to see in his eyes.
It's all to do with shooting. That's why I'm wearing them. You know, so I can line up my right eye on my sights.
My prescription shooting glasses, one of the little things that goes on the bridge of your nose broke off, and it's painful. Just happened this week.
Yeah. Oh, well, I hope you get it. So it broke off. It didn't stick in your nose, did it?
No, but it's, it's just one side's comfortable and one side's kind of scratching.
Now you're going to have to buy yourself a new pair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and start winding this down with with going through the panel here with any, shout outs or plugs or anything else you want to talk about. Start with you, Patriot in the Dark.
No, geez. I had something I was going to tell you, but I don't remember.
Well, if you remember before we get to the last person, go for it.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on a Liberty and Freedom giveaway. I've bounced over 1,000 subs, which I really appreciate everybody out there that watches my stuff. I got a lot of friends because of it, and so I'm trying to give away some stuff. Now, if you have any ideas of things that deal with liberty and freedom, because I know there's not a lot of guys or people out there that might want to read, and so the book thing, I've got a couple things like that. But for others, if you have any ideas or suggestions, just leave them at patriotanddark@gmail.com, and I really appreciate it. That's right.
That's good. Thanks. All right, Guns and Barbecue. You got anything?
Rick, did you do your trivia question?
Oh no, I didn't. Good thinking. For my quiz on Saturday, get this into me by noon time. Saturday. That's on Eastern time zone. The only time zone that counts. The email question is real easy. I wanted to know. It's about Tom Horn. He served in the United States Army during the Spanish-American War. I want to know what he did. That's it. And I've only got 2 entries so far. I think it's only 2. 3 at the most.
Would you say it again? Tom Horn from what war?
The Spanish-American.
Okay.
And I want to know what he did. So, there we go. All right. Guns N' Roses. Did you Guns N' Roses? Did you do your shout outs?
I say I've got I think about 2 videos scheduled per week right now for the next couple of weeks. I've been doing it like that for the last few weeks. So stay tuned for those. I just did one on my zombie gun. If anybody wants to go over and check that out, I heard it's a good laugh. I guess I'd describe it as Beverly Hills Ninja meets Brokeback Mountain without the man love. So.
All right, Jason Stewart, you got anything?
Good show, Rick. Thanks for the invite, man. It's always good to see you guys.
No problem. Appreciate you showing up. New York Outcast, you got anything?
No, just thanks for having me. Just put a message out there to Kevin in New York, who sent me an email. I did see it. I will get back to you shortly. He mentions he watches this show, so just thought I'd put that out there. Other than that, everybody check out each other's channels. Be safe and catch you next time.
And I hope with Squib Load out in the chat, he didn't come in. He didn't come in on the panel, but I hope we weren't weak like the last night's show. Anyway, Kingpin, you got anything?
Oh man, you know it. You're the best. I love being here. This is my favorite place on the internet. When I can't be here, I'm always listening. You know, if I'm listening, I don't text in the chat because I'm usually busy, but I'm still listening. But getting invites to the show is the highlight of my week, man. So I thank you very much, Rick, and everybody on the panel. You're fantastic. If you're interested in laughing at some lefties, go check out the Salty Cracker live stream coming up after Rick is done. I think 8:30 Eastern, only time zone that matters. I put the link out there, and it's pretty funny. You can forget about the chat because there's just too many people in there, but the guy cracks on lefties for like 2 hours, so it's pretty good. Something to warm you up until you get to roll call tonight.
Okay, sounds good. Willed and well armed. You got anything?
Yep. Sorry about being late. It was my 20th anniversary, so had dinner and came here at 8. But the main reason I wanted to come was just to thank you. I received the prize pack yesterday in the mail.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to thank you for that. Lots of neat stickers. Pretty funny, some of them.
All right. No problem.
Well, congratulations.
Yep. And then I got a video that's about to drop. Oh, yeah. Thanks. 20 years. She put up with me. I got a video on the thinnest 45 known to mankind.
All right. You say, is it dropped yet?
It'll drop Saturday or Sunday. I hadn't figured out. Hadn't scheduled it yet.
All right. And I want to say thank you all for being here on the panel.
Rick, I got one thing. Tuesday, September 29th, if anybody is able to make it to Harrisburg, PA, we're having a 2A rally. You know, any heads that can be there would be great.
Yeah, isn't that the day of the first debate too?
First debate is Tuesday.
Yeah. So I thought. All right, now I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. If I didn't mention you, I have tried to read most of them, and I really do appreciate you doing your thing there and for stopping by. It makes it all worthwhile. And I will see you all on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, the only time zone that matters. So I want to say good night to everybody. I will see you all later. So have a good one.
Good night, Sabrina.
Pay it forward, everyone.
All right.